WWE has reportedly turned down the opportunity to work with CM Punk once again, turning down the chance to sign him to a new contract. Details on that, plus MJF has addressed the controversial segment from last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. The Velveteen Dream denies that he was recently at the WWE Performance Center. Adam Copeland wins his AEW in-ring debut on Dynamite last night. The Undertaker makes a surprise appearance on NXT, chokeslamming Bron Breakker. Orange Cassidy is the brand new AEW International Champion. Hikaru Shida is the brand new AEW Women's World Champion. LA Knight successfully helps Ilya Dragunov retain the NXT Championship last night. Jade Cargill appears on NXT. Paul Heyman is seen talking with The Rock's daughter Ava during last night's NXT. Bryan Danielson is the new number one contender for the TNT Championship, and Cody Rhodes' announcement on NXT is revealed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and a big developing and breaking story this morning or lunchtime, depending on where you are in the world, is regarding CM Punk and a WWE return looking like it's off the table for now. A new report has said that WWE has turned down the chance to work with CM Punk once again. Now, ever since CM Punk was fired by AEW following his backstage altercation with Jack Perry at All In, speculation about his future has been rife. Now, much of the speculation has revolved around a possible return to WWE for CM Punk, which in the past seemed unthinkable given his own unceremonious exit from the company back in 2014. However, rumors and reports came out last week suggesting that WWE and CM Punk may have been in talks. CM Punk's intention was to return to WWE, with one report going as far to say it was a safe bet that CM Punk would be at Survivor Series in November in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Now, a report came out yesterday from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, kind of pouring cold water onto that. And today, speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer has confirmed that WWE has indeed turned down the chance to work with CM Punk right now, but that doesn't mean things won't change in the future. Here's what Meltzer had to say regarding Punk and WWE. He said, quotes, they being WWE, turned him down. He wanted to go there and the decision was a no. It can always change, and it was brought up to me that, look, there's no such thing as no forever when it comes to WWE, but it's no for now. That was the decision that was made. It's Vince's decision. Vince, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, and obviously they decided the negatives outweigh the positives, and you can't argue with that. He continued by saying there were negatives, there were positives, there were past dealings. It was a different situation from last time. If you remember, there were two other opportunities, one where Fox pressured them to take him and Vince said anyone else but him, no. And the second time, which was around 10 months ago, they were talking again, but he was under contract to AEW, and I was told that would be a no, but it's easy to say no if there's no chance they could get him because of the contract. Finally, Meltzer said, quote, this time they could, but they decided to pass. It can always change. It was made clear to me if WWE's business went down, that's a card they could play, but is it worth it? How bad is their business going to go down really? Even if this hot streak as far as live events cools off, and I guess it will eventually, that's just the reality of wrestling. There's always ups and downs, but even if it does, how much are they really going to be hurting? Their profit margins are ridiculous. Who needs the headaches? And I'm sure that's the way they looked at it. So essentially, Meltzer suggesting that, again, business isn't bad enough for them to require to bring back CM Punk given the past controversies, but never say never, particularly when it comes to WWE. Now, as I mentioned, an earlier update from Fightful Select yesterday, Sean Ross Sapp had indicated that while CM Punk had actually been the one to send out feelers to WWE to gauge interest, the two sides are not in talks as of right now, and no return is currently planned. According to the report, sources high up in WWE claim that any reports of CM Punk having signed with the company are false, and that as of October 10th, that being yesterday, the two sides are not in discussions over a return to the company. Now, several sources in the company wanted that to be clear to fans who may expect to see the star at Survivor Series, which of course takes place in Punk's hometown of Chicago. So it would appear it's a case of WWE making sure that fans don't buy a ticket to that show or don't order the show or watch the show with an expectation of seeing CM Punk turning up, because they will have their expectations certainly let down, because Punk, as of right now, isn't going to be there because WWE has reportedly turned down the opportunity to work with Phil Brooks once again. What are your thoughts on this development? Do you believe it? Do you buy it? Do you think we'll see CM Punk back inside of a WWE ring eventually? Do you think it's just a case of not right now, so we're not going to see him at Survivor Series, but come the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania next year, could we see CM Punk then? What are your thoughts on it? How do you think Punk will react? Do you think there's any possibility he could still work again with AEW? Let me know your thoughts about all of it in the comments section below. Now, MJF has addressed this controversial segment from AEW Dynamite last night. Now, AEW World Champion MJF has commented for the first time since a controversial promo exchange with Juice Robinson on AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. This week's episode saw yet another verbal showdown between MJF and his challenger at AEW Full Gear, that being Switchblade Jay White. While the bulk of the segment was in line with their previous back and forths, the closing lines from White's teammate Juice Robinson has a lot of fans talking online due to the sensitive nature. Now, Robinson took out a roll of quarters with the packaging labelled Friedman and threatened to break Max's jaw with them. Now, this statement has drawn criticism from many online already for leaning into anti-Semitism. MJF has spoken in the past of being bullied in his younger days, with other kids throwing quarters at him. In response to the segment, MJF took to Twitter, calling Robinson a piece of shit. For the comments, however, would say he's glad it happened as it helped raise awareness for hate speech. MJF would also go on to promote a public appearance at Foxborough's Massachusetts Gillette Stadium on October 12 for the National Stand Up for Jewish Hate campaign. You can see the tweet on the screen right now. It said, quote, "Tonight that piece of shit Juice Robinson decided to bring up a story from my childhood that has left me scarred. I'm glad he did. He brought awareness to something we've all gone through in one way, shape or form in our lives. On behalf of anyone who's ever been bullied for being different in any capacity, I look forward to leaving him scarred too. And I also look forward to this Thursday, hashtag stand up to Jewish hate." Now, Fightful is reporting that MJF did indeed clear the line to be used beforehand, so it's not a case of Robinson going into business for himself or AEW going into business for themselves. Fightful also noted that MJF, quote, "being comfortable with the story was also important to the story as well. Some have argued, given the current political climate at the moment and things that are going on in the world, it might not have been the right time." What was your thoughts about this segment? What are your thoughts about MJF's reaction to it? Do you think, regardless of MJF being comfortable, given the world events at the moment, it was the right thing to do for AEW to do this angle on television? Let me know your thoughts about that too in the comment section below. Now, the Velveteen Dream was in the headlines yesterday, possibly with some reports suggesting he could be set for a WWE return. Well, former WWE superstar the Velveteen Dream has busted rumors about him being at the WWE Performance Center recently. In a recent story on his Instagram page, the former NXT North American champion stated that he hasn't been anywhere near a WWE event or facility. He said, quote, "I am not in a rehabilitation facility, nor have I visited Orlando, Florida, the WWE Performance Center, or any WWE events or facilities," said the former WWE star. He also had a message for wrestling media and social media platforms requesting them to highlight the stars of the pro wrestling business instead of him. He said, quote, "I encourage all wrestling media and platforms to highlight the women and men who put together awesome weekly television and not waste time publishing and pushing fake narratives and fake news about me. I haven't contributed anything to your line of entertainment in years. Please do better and use your platforms to showcase the bright and prominent future that is professional wrestling," said Patrick Clark. Now, a recent rumor had claimed that the controversial star was spotted several times near the Performance Center, which was quickly shot down by Fightful Select yesterday, who revealed that the former WWE superstar wasn't at the Performance Center and the company is not interested in re-signing him. Of course, Dream was let go by WWE in 2021. There were reports of misconduct, there were reports of heat backstage, there were reports of several incidents as well going on at the time. Now, it was regarding some of the allegations made against him. It was asserted that WWE's investigation had cleared him of any wrongdoing. Last September, of course, he was arrested in Orlando, Florida on charges of trespassing and battery. Those charges were later dropped, but as of right now, he hasn't really done much of substance in his post-WWE career. Now, Adam Copeland made his AEW in-ring debut last night on AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. AEW Special Tuesday edition of Dynamite featured a headlining match between former TNT champion Luchasaurus and the company's newest signee, Adam Copeland, formerly known to WWE fans as Edge. The singles match also marked Copeland's official in-ring debut for AEW after he arrived at the promotion at AEW Wrestle Dream earlier on in the month. Prior to the bell, Luchasaurus' ally Christian Cage spoke on the microphone, claiming that Copeland was headed down a downward trajectory in comparison to Cage, who was steadily on the rise. After Cage then made a remark about Copeland's wife Beth Phoenix, the rated R superstar charged to the ring in a flurry. While Copeland was met with a numbers disadvantage, he continued to fight, even kicking out of a tombstone pile driver. Eventually, Copeland managed to shift the tide in his favor, nailing Luchasaurus with a pair of DDTs and a superplex. On cue, Cage arose from his seat to distract the referee as Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus worked together to keep Copeland grounded. Despite their repeated attempts to prevent Copeland from winning, Copeland responded back, striking Luchasaurus with Cage's TNT Championship. As Luchasaurus subsequently stood in confusion, Copeland delivered a spear to gain the pinfall, securing his first victory in All Elite Wrestling. Meanwhile, in NXT, The Undertaker made a surprising and shocking appearance last night. Not too surprising considering WWE, of course, had teased it since Friday's SmackDown. The teases of the Dead Man appearing on NXT on Tuesday as it went head-to-head with Dynamite ended up being true, but wasn't The Undertaker's undead persona that made its way to the ring on Tuesday. The WWE Hall of Famer rolled down the ramp, instead confronting Bron Breakker on a motorcycle as the American Badass. This shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. The Undertaker has said on multiple occasions now that when he said his final farewell in 2020 at Survivor Series, 30 years of The Undertaker, he was saying goodbye to that version of The Undertaker character, and moving forward, he'll only be the American Badass. Undertaker made his appearance after Breakker took out Carmelo Hayes following their match, which Breakker lost. The young star was first to get on the mic against the Hall of Famer and asked if he understood that there was one badass in NXT. While Breakker received a "you effed up" chance from the crowd at the Performance Center, Undertaker told Breakker that he had been watching him for a long time and that one day he's going to be a special talent, but not today. The legend then decked Breakker and got him up for a chokeslam as Hayes sat grinning in the corner. Undertaker got back on the mic to give Breakker a little advice, telling him there's always an older, bigger, badder badass waiting around the corner and that he's just met the baddest of them all. Undertaker and Hayes then posed for the crowd as NXT went off the air. What did you think of The Undertaker showing up on NXT, and what did you think about his interaction with Bron Breakker? Now, Orange Cassidy is the brand new AEW International Champion. Pretty significant that actually heading into that, he wasn't even scheduled to be in the match. Now, during the AEW Dynamite pre-show, AEW President Tony Khan announced that Jon Moxley had not been medically cleared to compete, so therefore a new challenger was needed for the AEW International Championship match that was scheduled to take place later on in the evening. Upon the suggestion from Hook, Khan offered Orange Cassidy the opportunity to face Rey Fenix for the title on Tuesday's special edition of Dynamite. Cassidy previously lost the International Championship to Moxley at AEW All Out last month and had yet to receive a rematch for the title up until this point. The subsequent title match opened with a flurry of strikes from both competitors until Phoenix gained the upper hand, nailing Cassidy with a frog splash for a near fall. Both men continued to battle back and forth, with Phoenix countering Cassidy's orange punch with a super kick, to which Cassidy responded with a beach break. With Phoenix's momentum now halted, Cassidy connected with an orange punch to score the pinfall, crowning him as a two-time AEW International Champion. Upon Cassidy's victory, Phoenix's reign as champion comes to an end at just 20 days. Of course, Rey Fenix was never actually supposed to win the International Championship. That was an audible in the match that caused Jon Moxley to be injured, suffering a concussion at Dynamite Grand Slam. It's currently unknown when Phoenix, along with Moxley, will receive a rematch for the title that they previously held. Now, it wasn't the only title change last night on AEW Dynamite. Hikaru Shida is now a three-time AEW Women's World Champion. Hikaru Shida made history on Dynamite Title Tuesday, defeating Saraya and becoming the first ever three-time AEW Women's World Champion. She had to overcome the odds to do it, including interference from Ruby Soho, who was supposed to be banned from ringside, as well as a shot of spray paint to the face. A hooded person revealed to be Soho ran to the ring during the match, but it was Shida who was able to spray the Outcast member with her own can of spray paint. Toni Storm ran down to beat Soho with her shoe as they both brawled into the crowd as Saraya gained control of the match. Shida was able to battle back even after being sprayed with the paint and hit a Falcon Arrow on the champion for the victory after the two competitors traded roll-ups. Confetti sprayed throughout the arena and Shida celebrated her victory as Saraya looked on distraught. Shida, of course, had initially unfortunately lost the Women's Championship to Saraya at AEW All-In at Wembley Stadium in August in a fatal four-way match that also involved Storm and Britt Baker. It was Storm who ate the pin at that match, however, not Shida, in Saraya's first title win in AEW since getting cleared to wrestle again. What are your thoughts on Hikaru Shida being now a three-time AEW Women's World Champion? Of course, Saraya had defended the championship just once against Toni Storm and didn't do all that much of substance during her title reign either. So what are your thoughts on the title change, and what are your thoughts on Saraya's reign as champion as well? Now, LA Knight made a surprise appearance last night on NXT in a match that was created by the guest general manager of NXT for the evening, Cody Rhodes. Ilya Dragunov retained his NXT championship over NXT North American champion Dominic Mysterio. At the beginning of the episode, Rhodes also made SmackDown star LA Knight the guest referee for the title match. The match, of course, included Judgment Day interference with Rhea Ripley on the outside at one point distracting Knight so Mysterio could poke a thumb in Dragunov's eye. Finn Balor and JD McDonough also interfered toward the end of the match, but McDonough ate a blunt force trauma for his trouble. During the distraction, Ripley went to hit Dragunov with one of the championships, but missed and fell into the arms of Trick Williams, who was ringside as well. In all of the chaos, Dragunov was able to capitalize and get the pin on Mysterio. Knight raised the NXT champion's hand in the middle of the ring in celebration. After the contest, Baron Corbin's music hit as he sauntered down to the ring to seemingly challenge Dragunov. Dijak, though, then appeared behind the champion and blasted him with a kick while he was distracted. Corbin and Dijak faced off outside of the ring, with Dijak telling the other star that he beat him to it and Dragunov was his. Later in the episode, Rhodes made a number one contenders match for next week's episode of NXT between Corbin, Dijak, and the winner of the main event, which of course was Carmelo Hayes, with the winner becoming the next new number one contender for the NXT Championship. Now, LA Knight wasn't the only surprise appearance, along with The Undertaker last night. Jade Cargill made a surprise cameo at the Performance Center. Two former AEW wrestlers, Jade Cargill and also Brian Pillman Jr., made their first official NXT appearances during this week's episode. Of course, it's ironic considering their appearances happened while NXT was head-to-head against AEW Dynamite at the same time. Now, let's start off talking about Brian Pillman Jr., because during NXT, Pillman Jr. appeared in a video package where he spoke about not really remembering his late father, former WWE and WCW star Brian Pillman. He also revealed that going forward, he is going to be using the last name King because I'm nobody's junior. That Pillman Jr. joined WWE's developmental brand back in August, but yet to make his WWE in-ring debut. Meanwhile, in a backstage segment, Cargill came out of a white SUV and was greeted by the Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative Shawn Michaels. WWE fans did catch a glimpse of Cargill last Saturday during the Fastlane pre-show, and WWE's Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque was seen greeting her. Cargill signed with the promotion on September 26, but has yet to actually appear inside of a WWE ring. We also don't know which brand she's going to be appearing on moving forward as well. Of course, if we get any more details on that in a future video, we'll let you know. Now, this was quite interesting. Paul Heyman was seen talking Bloodline business with, I guess, an unofficial member of the Bloodline. Tuesday night's episode of NXT featured a special appearance from the Bloodline's wise man Paul Heyman, who accompanied former NXT champion Bron Breakker during his main event match against Carmelo Hayes, but that wasn't Heyman's only order of business, though. As revealed by NXT Anonymous account, Heyman also arranged a meeting with Ava, of course, who is widely known as the daughter of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This event proves to be especially significant given Reigns' familial connection to members of the Bloodline. Now, while we can't hear specifics of Heyman's talk with Ava, he can be seen pointing to his phone case, which is marked with the logo of the Bloodline. In response, Reign crossed her arms as if to consider Heyman's apparent proposal. Heyman then signaled to Reign that he had the capacity or the capability of making a phone call, presumably to the leader of the Bloodline, the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. Since the departure of the Dyad, that being Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed, Reign, or Ava, along with Joe Gacy, have tried to recruit new members of the Schism, namely Trick Williams. As of this recording, though, the now duo have yet to find any success in that venture. So do you think this was just a nice cameo, a nice little nod to the future or anything like that? Or do you think we could see Ava as part of the Bloodline, maybe an NXT version of the Bloodline moving forward? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Bryan Danielson is the number one contender for the AEW TNT Championship. It might not have been a title match itself on the Dynamite Title Tuesday special, but Bryan Danielson is moving on to challenge for one. The American Dragon defeated Swerve Strickland for the right to challenge Christian Cage for the TNT Championship, kicking off the show on a night when Dynamite went head-to-head with NXT in the same time slot. The match itself was not without interference on Strickland's end, with Prince Nana distracting the referee, while Swerve grabbed his manager's crown to use against Danielson. However, Hangman Adam Page Page made the save and stopped Strickland from using it. Danielson was able to hit his Psycho knee strike after countering the JML driver with a failed roll-up attempt, scoring the victory and moving on to challenge Cage. Of course, Cage recently retained the TNT Championship against Darby Allin with help from Nick Wayne at WrestleDream. At the end of the broadcast, Bryan Danielson did lock the LaBelle Lock in on Christian Cage. Their match will be taking place Saturday on Collision for the TNT Championship. Finally, I mentioned that opened the show for AEW. Cody Rhodes opened up the show for WWE on NXT. Amidst the ongoing NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, Cody Rhodes had some major announcements, and one of them was that WWE fans can look forward to the return of the Men's Breakout Tournament, which last took place in 2021. In addition, Cody Rhodes informed the NXT universe that they can also anticipate the resurgence of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which was created in honor of his father, the American Dream, in the wake of his passing in 2015. Previous winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic include the Creed Brothers in 2022, Undisputed Era in 2018, and Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, who won the inaugural tournament in 2015. A women's version of the tournament was introduced in 2021, with Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez emerging as the victors. Io Sky and Alba Fire, formerly known as Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, won the second iteration in 2022. As of this recording, it's unknown when WWE will begin the 2023 or 2024 version of the tournaments. Along with that tournament news, as mentioned, Cody Rhodes also announced that he was the special guest general manager for last night's episode of NXT as well. But there you go, guys. This is the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.